Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Very good. We're not going to talk about politics today, but for those of you that watched the debate last night, if you want to know how we feel about all that, you can check on our social media, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. But we made a solemn vow to not talk politics on the radio. So there you go.
You made that vow.
I did, but
Yeah.
you know, we do a podcast for politicalstorm.com, so if people want to listen to that, they can. But we're going to not talk about it today. But you can certainly find out online if you're into that kind of thing. See, that's the way we do it, where if you want to hear about politics, you go out of your way to hear it. If you don't have to. So there you go. You're welcome. Hey, a survey by America Online found the average American worker wastes over 2 hours a day. That's I would have assumed much more than 2 hours a day. And I didn't know America Online was even still a thing. Coming up later in the program, we have Tuesdays with Charlie, speaking of wasting time. Oh, I enjoy talking to him. And one last thing here. Researchers have found unexpectedly huge differences in genetic makeup of individual human beings, meaning the so-called genetic map may be way off. So they're saying this whole genetics thing, we don't quite understand yet. So interesting things there. Coming up, some special things today. We'll tell you all about that on the way.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today,
I
John?
thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, September the 27th. Today is National Voter Registration Day. Are you already registered?
Oh, yeah, of course.
We
yes.
just changed our registration because we moved from one
Yep.
house to another. So if you've moved recently, if you've done any of that kind of stuff, you need to make sure you register. And that way, when you go out
It's
to
very
vote,
important to me
It
to
is.
be a registered voter.
it is a good thing. Today is National Women Road Warrior Day. So I'm not sure what that means. Are you supposed
Yeah, I don't
to
know what that means.
cut people off today? Or what does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. World Tourism Day today. It is Ancestor Appreciation Day today. We should all appreciate our ancestors. I mean, without them, our lives would be a lot different.
We wouldn't be here.
Oh, yeah, that's what it would be. And finally, today is Google's birthday. Didn't we just talk about
Who
this?
cares?
I don't know. Apparently, Google does. But didn't we just talk about this like 3 weeks ago? It was like Google Day then. So what the heck does that mean?
Maybe it was just Google Day, and now it's
No.
Google's birthday.
You know what? They understand that people check out what is going on today, and I
Yeah.
think they have one every other day or something. All right. Coming up, we've got some more special things. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business if it's done right. You can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Bank robbers are kicking themselves right now for passing up what would have been the easiest bank robbery in history. Take a listen to this. Shortly past midnight, one Thursday in Argentina, an after-hours ATM user alerted police after finding the doors to the bank were left wide open. Not just unlocked, but wide open. Police responded by surrounding the bank, suspecting a bank robbery was in progress. After an exhaustive search, police found no evidence that anyone had entered the bank, and nothing was missing. The branch manager says apparently a bank employee had to go and replenish the ATM, and prior to leaving work, they forgot to close the main door to the bank.
Yikes.
The employee has been suspended, by the way. So can
Yeah,
you
I would hope
imagine?
so.
He is so fortunate that this person utilizing the ATM after midnight, shortly past midnight, a few weeks ago on a Thursday, very fortunate that the person that was utilizing the ATM called the police and notified that, hey, there might be something going down.
Yeah.
That could have been really bad.
Well, if that person didn't know that there could be somebody armed inside the bank, he probably would have taken advantage of the fact that the bank was unlocked.
Anybody in there?
You can steal some pens with chains on
I
them.
remember reading a story one time. It's a little different than this, but read a story one time about the police being called to a store because there was somebody walking by saw some movement inside, and they saw a figure standing inside, and they had like a 3-hour
it was a
standoff.
cardboard cutout. Yeah.
Cardboard cutout of Bob Vila. Bob Vila broke into the hardware store. I just thought that was so funny when we read that. I was like, that is just,
How embarrassing.
You never really think about it, but you have a cardboard cutout. If you have one of those things around, it does look pretty realistic. So much so the SWAT team had to be called in.
That would be so embarrassing.
Some guy, he hasn't even blinked. I mean, this guy is amazing. All right. This one's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A man goes boating. That's not bad, but he was also drinking, and those two things don't go together very well. Drinking and driving is stupid, and it's dangerous, but there's also a reason that there are laws against drinking and boating as well, because drinking and boating is also dangerous, Heidi. Here's a prime example as to why that's a valid law. A man who had been drinking heavily decided to take his friend's boat for a little spin. He fell asleep at the helm. He took off in Denmark, ended up in Norway.
Oh.
The boat had crossed the entire sea, the Skagerrak Sea. So when he woke up, he was in Norway. He's like, what am I doing here?
Oh, my gosh.
Can you imagine that? So his boat, he passed out, and the boat just kept going and going and going and going. He's lucky he didn't hit something or someone.
Well, that's what I was thinking was going to happen here. Somebody was going to be very hurt.
No,
so he's lucky if that's all that happened.
Exactly. Thank you for listening. We'll be back with your moment of duh. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now, your moment of duh. Sometimes the moment of duh is somebody doing something stupid. There are other times it's just something that I think is kind of stupid. Today it's something. You ready for that?
I'm ready.
An IBM warning label made today's moment of duh. Whoever it was that typed this up wasn't really thinking. The packaging for the IBM Compact Flash Micro Drive declares on the package that it, quote, withstands a shock of 1,500 Gs. An enormous shock. But then in the very same manual, it says, warning, do not drop. So apparently you can shock this thing with 1,500 Gs. Isn't a G, isn't that like when they're...
I have no idea what a G is.
G-force. I think it's like when they're in an airplane, they'll do this maneuver and the person's face is like pushed back.
Okay.
So the thing can stand 1,500 Gs, but if you accidentally knock it off the corner of your desk, it's destroyed. So I just don't know how that's possible. You got both of those things working for you. So thanks, IBM, for confusing me. We've got your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. This story right here is one that kind of scares me because we've talked about this before, and I remember the last time we had a story like this, you were saying that you probably would have done this too. A spider is to blame for a rollover crash near Portland, Oregon.
Can't stand spiders.
I know. The driver told deputies she was driving and a spider dropped down from her rearview mirror.
Oh.
She lost control, went out of control, off the road, rolling the car in the ditch. The car was completely totaled, but the driver escaped with minor injuries, and the spider got away too. So,
I would have ended up rolling.
Yeah, don't. And I've got some info on that on our Facebook page if you want to read more. But that is not the first time now, because we read a couple stories now about that. That is just crazy. Mackenzie Gill was hoping to celebrate her 18th birthday and the fact that she would be eligible to vote. She wanted to get a cake that said Trump 2016 on it. The bakery at Albertsons in Bossier City, Louisiana, denied her request, so she just bought her cake somewhere else. Which I think that's a great
That's
ending
probably
to that
the way that everybody should do it. If
it is.
One person won't do it, you go to a different place. You don't file a lawsuit. You don't cry discrimination.
I'm glad that they made that.
You'd be a grown-up.
Yeah, I'm glad that they made that story.
And I'm glad to hear that it was a conservative that was grown up enough to go someplace else to buy a different cake.
Calm down. We're not
Just
talking
saying,
politics.
It's ridiculous.
We're talking about a cake here, Heidi.
Bunch of freaking babies.
Hey, you all right?
I'm fine.
Do you need to take some
I'm
time?
fine. I'm very proud of this young lady.
Okay, very good.
She did the right thing.
Hey, have you ever wanted to keep track of bank robberies in your neighborhood or your city? Maybe you've always wanted to, try your hand at helping the FBI catch a bad guy. Well, there's an app for that. The FBI has released a bank robberies mobile app designed to help the public and the law enforcement and financial institutions see and share photos and information about robberies all over the country. The app allows users to sort bank robberies by date, by state, by category. And if you want, you can get push notifications to tell you when a bank robbery has happened near your location and a link to the
Didn't
FBI's
we talk about this? Why would it?
tips.
Because we were like, why would anybody need this
No,
app?
I don't think we talked about it, but off the air, because I don't think I talked about it on the air.
I don't know.
I've got the story now. I'm going to share it on I already did, at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Here's the thing that I think is interesting. If you download that app, are they going to start checking to see if you're a bank robber? Because it almost sounds to me like you're doing research. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's been a while since this one's been hit.
I haven't been there. According to my bank robbing trends, this one's fresh for a robin. Days in the laboratory are numbered for chimpanzees, humans' closest relative. Chimps paved the way for astronauts to go into space. They were vital in creating some very important medicines, but the government said that science has advanced enough that from now on, chimps essentially should be a last resort in medical research. I think that's a good idea.
That is good. I
A
love
move
monkeys.
that puts the United States more in line with the rest of the world. Chimps' similarity with people, quote, demands special consideration and respect, end quote, according to the National Institute of Health spokesperson. So I'm really glad because I like chimps. I think they're adorable.
Me too.
The power of dogs' noses is pretty well documented, and that reputation continues to improve, Heidi. Take a listen to this. Researchers have discovered that our canine companion snouts may be more acute and more accurate than advanced laboratory procedures when it comes into detecting certain forms of cancer. So they're saying, researchers in Italy are saying that they had 2 trained dogs that could sniff out the scent of prostate cancer in urine samples with a success rate of 98%. So next time you meet somebody and they have a dog and he's, doing the whole crotch sniffing thing, he's just checking you for prostate cancer. No, keep going. He'll let you know. You should probably go get that checked. I think that's what's happening there. Now we know. And our final story, a bus driver in China has been fined for posting insulting signs on the back of seats. The bus driver put signs that say, please do not spit and litter. Violators are as bad as pigs and dogs.
Okay.
Well, tell me how you really feel. I wonder how many people spit on those signs. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone or we call my father-in-law for a little show we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
One of these days, I'm going to quit answering the phone.
No. Why would you do that? I mean, it's always fun, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's real fun.
It is for us. Well, what are we going to learn about today, Charlie?
Pick on the old guy, right?
Something like that.
Hey, did you know that more than 25 billion newspapers are published every year?
Oh, wow.
If all the newspapers was recycled, we could save about 250 million trees a year.
That's crazy.
I wonder why they don't quit printing the paper and just have people read it on a digital screen. That's what a lot of people do anyway.
Well, I think it's got to be coming to an end.
You'd think so.
Hey, then, did you know that more than 1.57 billion gallons of paint are sold in the U.S. each year?
Holy cow, that's a lot of paint.
That's a lot of paint. I could paint my house 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, probably. That's a ton of paint.
Hey, then, Crayola, the colors?
Yeah, I've seen those before, yep.
They have made over 133 different colored crayons.
I wonder which color's the most popular color.
Well, they've got 8 standard colors.
Okay.
Black, brown, blue, red, purple, orange, yellow, and green.
Those are probably the most popular ones then.
Them were the very first ones made and still the most popular.
Oh, that's cool.
I used to use colors when I was a little kid.
Yeah, me too.
I still
You ever
use
eat 'em?
colors when I get a chance.
Wait a sec. Did you say, did you ever eat them?
Yeah. You ever take a bite out of one?
No,
I
I've
didn't.
never eaten a Crayola.
Did you?
Not too bad.
That might explain something.
A little roughage is good for you. Hey, then I think I heard somewhere that in an emergency they'll burn like a candle.
No kidding.
Try that.
One more thing I need to try now.
Get that out of your desk drawer because I know you got colors in there.
Oh,
Try
of
it.
course. Yeah, I got a whole
I
stack
do,
of 'em,
but a crayon will burn if you just light it on fire.
apparently.
I'm gonna try that.
Try that and report. I want to report next week.
Hey, I do too. Please don't do it in the
Color burns
studio.
the best.
Don't do it in the studio, Heidi.
Hey, did you know that the White House has 35 bathrooms?
35.
Whoa.
Wow. Well, you always got a place to go that way.
Your body can break down about 1 drink per hour.
No kidding. So anything more than that, your body's struggling.
Well, that's not even worth drinking then. You're going to have 1 an hour.
We're gonna be here all night before I get drunk.
How big a drink could it be, though? Yeah. Big enough glass, you know.
Hey, then I got one last thing here, and this is just in case you care, because I don't care, but
Okay.
you know what a male squirrel monkey looks like?
A male squirrel monkey, yeah.
I'm taking after these guys. I'm going to start today.
Okay.
They sometimes assert dominance by urinating on subordinates.
Imagine
We
how
got a bunch of subordinates around here, and I'm going to just let them have it.
office politics would be a lot different if we all did that. Whoa, what's that for? I told you to get back to work. Okay, sorry.
Get people
man.
into shape, I'm telling you.
Hey, are you ready for a quick question, Charlie?
Oh, you got a question for me?
I do. I got a good one here. How many stars are in the Big Dipper?
How many stars?
How many stars are in the Big Dipper? It's a constellation, but how many stars does it take to make the Big Dipper?
57.
No, it's less than that. Heidi looks like she's... Heidi,
24.
No, believe it or not, it's only 7. 7 stars make up the Big Dipper. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, then
I-
how
I
many
got
are in the
four
Little
corners
Dipper?
and the tail, right?
Yeah, you got like the little handle and you got the little bowl part, the dipper part, but it's only 7. So kind of crazy. I thought there was more than that too, but when I read it and then I got to thinking and I looked at a picture of it even because I thought that can't be right, but it's right. It's
Well,
almost-
I had a 7 in there.
yeah, you did
So
a good
then, how
job.
many are in the Little Dipper?
I don't know.
wonder?
I didn't look that one up, so you're throwing me for a curve here. But there's 7
Maybe it's
in
the same number. They're just closer together.
Could be 7 in the Big Dipper. So now we all know.
We all learned something today.
We did, and it was. I think that's useful. That'll
It
come
was
in handy
fascinating.
somewhere.
I doubt it'll ever come in handy,
Oh, it's gonna-
but it was good to know.
That'll probably come in, tonight. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Someday, I'll have my life on the line, and they'll say, "I'll let you." Okay, I won't kill you if you tell me how many stars are in the Big Dipper. Lucky number 7. That's how many.
Well, I think the candle thing's a better deal.
Yeah, that's
I want
true.
a full report on that Crayola.
We'll try it.
All right. Have a good day, Charlie. We'll talk to you next
Bye,
week.
Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can with a little show we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that,
The
John?
planet Venus has the longest day in our solar system. So if you're, wanting to get a day off work, say, I'd like to get a day off work.
And I'm
from
going to Venus.
A Venus day off work. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
All organic compound contains carbon. So it's all connected somehow. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
3 astronauts manned each Apollo flight. That's kind of cool. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Dissolved salt makes up 3.5% of the oceans. I wonder what the other portions of it are.
Water?
I suppose. Yeah, that makes sense. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Glaciers store about 75% of the world's fresh water. Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
In
cool.
Washington state alone, glaciers provide 470 billion gallons of water each summer.
Oh.
So there you go. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Traveling at the speed of 186,000 miles per second, it takes 6 hours to travel from Pluto to the Earth. That's light speed.
Oh.
So if you're going the speed of light, it'll take you 6 hours to go from Pluto to Earth. So whatever we're seeing, like if we're looking up and we're seeing Pluto, it was 6 hours ago that we're seeing. So there you go. A couple of fun facts for you on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business if it's done right. You can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Have you ever been a fan of Good Housekeeping, like the magazine? You ever read that?
No, not really. I mean, if I might go to a doctor's office or something,
Yeah.
I'll pick it up. But
I find some interesting stuff. I haven't picked up the magazine, but some of the interesting stories I find when you look at where they came from, that's where they came from. And I think I've had maybe 6 or 7 in the last month or two. But 9 things teachers wish parents knew.
okay.
This is from Good Housekeeping. Number 1, don't be a stranger. Talk to your child's teacher early and talk to them often. It says when you go back to school, that would be a great time to finally, the very first day, meet the teacher. So you guys know who you know who they are and they know who you are. That would be a good thing. I remember a TV show where there was a guy that he met this lady and she said, "Oh, I know you," and he says, "You do?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're the father of one of my children." And this guy was trying to figure out, did I have an affair? Did I whatever? And then he realized, she said, "No, your son isn't. I'm his teacher. I'm your son's teacher." But I thought it was so funny. "You're the father of one of my kids," and he's like, "What?" So another good reason to know who your teacher is. Another one, learning doesn't stop at 3:15. So, or whenever it is your kids get out, they should keep learning. Your teacher says if the kids study at home and get homework done at home, they're going to do so much better than if you expect them to just do everything at school. Your student's going to struggle. Next, stay involved, even when you don't know the material. Okay, that explains it for us.
Yeah,
Especially the math and the stuff the science.
it's
and
ridiculous.
if it was a paper, on how to be a goofball, I could help, but that's pretty much all I know. So
I mean, I know how to do her math, but she says, "Oh no, because we have to do it this way and this way and this way now."
Never
Because
mind.
Common Core,
can't
it's
help that.
all messed up.
Next, keep your child organized. That means helping with the paper chase. Teachers say, "I spent so much time tracking down tests or forms." Moms and dads help with that if you can. Next, let your child make mistakes. There's some people who, my kid would never make a mistake. And if they get in trouble, then the teacher gets yelled at. No. If they make mistakes, they make mistakes. That's all part of learning. Next, raise a good reader. If your child is not a natural-born bookworm, encourage them to read. Find things that they're interested in, even if it's audiobooks to start. Next, if the teacher deserves a good grade, give her one. Give the teacher or give him one. It says her in the story, but there are teachers that are hims too. The teacher's on your side. Give the teacher the benefit of the doubt. There is a secret to better grades. Set up a get-together with the teacher early in the year. Find out what your student can do, your child can do, to make sure that they're doing everything possible to get the best grades. Again, 9 things right there that teachers wish parents knew. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Let's talk business. If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you really think the internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can actually build a website setup for less than $30 a month. If you need help designing it or just laying something out, we're here to help you. Get a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. You can actually build the site and see it online for free during this trial. So why not check it out at radiosavings.com.
After a long run, what's the first thing you want to do? Sit down and have what?
Drink of water.
Yeah, there you go. Or how about smell your socks? No?
What?
Yeah, that's exactly what University of California, Davis, cross runners did. After a 10-mile run, before you think they were weird, you should know they were doing research. The socks were developed to eliminate foot odor. The good news is they worked. The fabric's inventor, UC Davis textile chemist Gang Sun, says the technology could have benefits far beyond sweeter-smelling locker rooms, including being used in infection-fighting hospital scrubs and linens. And I think it's kind of a cool idea. So
That's awesome.
they have socks that don't stink. So next thing you know, maybe they'll make some britches that don't stink, and we'll get some of those for Charlie. That's funny stuff.
Wow.
All right, coming up, we're going to head to Bulgaria. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
The kids in Bulgaria are either brilliant or absolute idiots. You tell me, and I got a feeling I'm going to write down what I think Heidi's going to say. Teenagers in Bulgaria have come up with a surefire way to get out of school, and they don't get in trouble for it. I mean, they can get out of school. All you have to do is catch an intentional case of head lice.
Oh my gosh.
Students have taken it upon themselves to create a head lice plague, as a matter of fact.
Gross.
By infecting each other with lice on purpose.
Oh.
This all started after they learned that the infected students have to stay home from school for 3 days. This regulation was aimed at stopping head lice spreading, but it appears to have worked against us, according to this story, especially when there are a lot of exams. So every time there's an exam, there's an outbreak of, head lice. And I'm getting itchy right now just talking about this. Does that happen to anyone else?
Oh.
It happens to me. So over in Bulgaria, they have this huge outbreak of head lice because the kids found out that if you get head lice, you have to stay home for 3 days. So there you go.
Man. I did a lot of stuff to get out of school. I would never infect
really?
myself with head lice.
Oh, I guessed wrong. See, I thought you would have. I thought you were going to say they were brilliant. So
No.
I judged you wrong. All
That's
right.
gross.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Do you belong to any clubs where you have to pay a certain amount each month to be involved?
No.
You might want to reconsider because in most cases you're losing money by doing that. Economists, this is a study done by Stanford and UC Berkeley. So I don't know if it's something that's skewed or not, but they found that consumers waste a staggering amount of money every year on membership fees for things like credit cards and health clubs and even video rentals. Probably not that one anymore because there's not a lot of stores that do that.
This may be an outdated story.
Cell phone services, they think they'll use more than they do. They said in almost every case it would have been cheaper to take the pay-per-use option. For instance, out of 8,000 people who bought a one-year membership at a Boston gym, 80% went so infrequently it would have been cheaper to pay $17 per day when they went and used
they did go.
Then there's like a workout fee of $17 if you don't have a membership. They're saying since you only went 4 times, you'd have been better off doing that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you got to do is make sure if that is something that you're going to do, sign up for something where there's a monthly fee. Make sure that you utilize it. Because if you sign up and you don't utilize it,
You're still getting charged. Yeah,
you're still paying for it.
Yep, whether you go or not.
And by saying, every time you're deducting that, going, how many times did I go this month? Man, I need to go more often. Make sure you pay attention to that and then prove the study wrong. Say, you know what? No, I got a membership because I wanted to do this. And now I'm going to force myself to do it because I'm paying the darn membership. So.
Yep.
But I do understand what they're saying. I know there are things that we've been members of. I was a member of an organization where we had annual dues to be a part of it, to go to these meetings. And
you never went to the meetings.
No, it was like 3 years in a row. I had only gone to like 4 meetings in 3 years. And I finally said, why are we members of this?
Right.
I don't think we should do this anymore.
I had been saying that for 4 years.
I know you had. It was good stuff when I went. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I hope we've got time to get to both of these because they're great stories. This one here is where we're going to start. History is made this week as the first wave-produced power in the U.S. went online in Hawaii. According to Yahoo, these tall buoys bob and sway in the water, and when they're moving around in the water, just from the waves, it creates electricity. The current travels through an undersea cable for about a mile to a military base where it feeds into a power grid. By some estimates, the ocean's endless motion packs enough power to meet a quarter of America's energy needs and dramatically reduce the nation's reliance on gas and coal and oil. But wave energy technology lags well behind wind and solar power, with important technical hurdles still to overcome. But this could help. Think about where the
That's
population...
fascinating. Yeah, that's
Think
brilliant.
about where the population of the country is. There are a lot of people who live not too far from the coast.
Right.
California, New York,
Right.
Florida, all the areas where
Yeah,
there's
no,
a lot
that's
of people.
brilliant. If they can make
so
that work, I absolutely love it.
That's why I thought that was really good news. And I've got that story posted at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And that's where you'll find this one as well, because I do have time. Friday night was a special night in Michigan at Nova High School. According to Mashable, after 4 years of serving the athletic department, Robbie Hale, a senior with Down syndrome, finally got his chance to score a touchdown. Robbie was put into play during the second quarter against South Lyon East, and the plan was put into place. The handoff went right to Bobby, and he booked it for the end zone to score a touchdown. His mother, Debbie Heil, who had been diagnosed with terminal bone cancer, was able to be on the sidelines to watch her son's scoring run. How cool is that? That is really cool. I'm sad to hear that all those different things going on in that story there, but really proud of Robbie being able to... He's been serving the team for 4 years, and now he got to actually be a part of it, which is awesome. And I'm so sorry to hear that his mother has cancer. That's not good at all. But like I said, you can get the full story. It's another one of those heartwarming stories.
You would have been bawling. You're tearing up already. Just
leave me
reading
alone.
this story, you would have been
Oh,
crying.
Those kind of stories, they tug at my heartstrings, and apparently I've got pretty big heartstrings. You don't have a heart at all. So I don't even know how we're married. How does this work? Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. We have some talking to do. I'm sure I'll probably put up with it longer. I always do. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.